Hello everybody, it is I, your favorite VTuber, Android Arrowhead, and I welcome you now to the Arrowhead Podcast. Yeah, it's basically a Zatsudan, honestly, but hey, it kind of has topics. Kind of like a Zatsudan, but also not like that. So, regardless, hi Arrowhead everyone. Today, what is the topic? The topic is games that I've played on this channel. Channel. One day I'll have an echo effect. Until then. For now, first one I want to talk about is Subnautica. I have a bunch of little like slideshow of all the thumbnails I had for it up here. But the reason I want to talk about all this stuff is because I find it really interesting that I liked Subnautica. So, like, something to know about me, I generally do not play games that are like survival or, without a lot of clear direction to it. I just don't. It's not a thing that I do. So, the fact that I liked Subnautica at all was kind of a big deal. We got, oh yeah, Finding Cave so far. I forgot I did that joke. Huh. But yeah, it's very, like, it was a very fun game. I've never really played a lot of games where you have to go hunt and gather materials, gotta go fast, gotta try to not die. I like that. I have fun with it. So, all I can really say here is that, yeah, the story was, well, it's like, I like the story in it too. It was kind of hard to grasp for a while, but I got it. Eventually, everything made sense. And it's like, well, a little bit of voice acting in there was pretty good. Genre, like, I don't play a lot of, like I said, survival horror games and all that. This is kind of a survival horror game. Or more survival than horror, but still a little bit of horror. And what's funny about this also is that this is one of the only games that I played and fully finished before I even became a VTuber. It was in, like, the month or so before I really became a VTuber that I played this. It's just kind of nice little memories like that, You gotta really enjoy also the atmosphere of it. The atmosphere was fantastic. Gave a very eerie feeling, and even though the music would sometimes be kind of like uplifting or kind of cool sounding, it would still always have like a bit of just kind of foreboding to it. Kind of like Outer Worlds. Because I like that game too, and I feel like it gives off a very similar vibe to Subnautica. We'll get to that one later. But overall, I must say, I really enjoyed this game. I love the mystery aspect. I love finding stuff in it. I'm not going to rate games on this, but if I did, Subnautica would absolutely, for me at least, get a pretty high score. Hard recommend, even if you don't like survival games, I would say go for it. Because neither did I, and I like this. Also, Reapers. They're very cool and also extremely deadly. Let me see. Hold on. Let me get the next round of things up. All right, and then I add, let's see, what else do I want to talk about? How about, sure, this one. Apex Legends. How do I feel about Apex Legends? For a not story game, I gotta be honest, I know there is a lot of Apex lore. I don't know what most of it is. I cannot really comprehend a lot of it. But, I like this thumbnail. Back when I still used, like, the really weird pencil brush that made everything look a little too pencil-y. Then that one, yeah. That thumbnail came out decently. But, anywho. Apex is a game that I really like. It reminds me, well, it's got all the running bits of Titanfall, which was fun, obviously. Everyone likes Titanfall. But without the Titans. And obviously, I still had my reservations about that. I'm saying this now 4 years after it came out, which is a bit late in that regard. I think everyone had that criticism at first, but then quickly grew to see that the game is much more than just the Titanfall clone. Or sequel, more like? Spin-off? I don't know. Regardless, in that sort of universe, right? So, ultimately, I think it did a lot to separate itself from the way Titanfall was. You know, you had characters with different ultimates, characters that could do very different things from one another. Hey, Geef Mr. Well, welcome to the stream. But the main thing that draws me to Apex is the speed. And I feel like the speed was something that was also very constant in Titanfall. You know, you had wall running, you could just dash around everywhere. It was a very fast-paced game, and I feel like Apex manages to keep that up. Which is also part of the reason why I never really found, like, Warzone or PUBG to be, for me at least, a sufficient replacement, because if we're just going by other battle royales, obviously, they just weren't that fast. This brings the quickness of Titanfall and the giant open worldness of a battle royale. I'm doing just fine, Geef Mr. L. How are you doing? But that's really what I like about Apex. It captures what I liked about Titanfall, but not all of it. No Titans. Maybe eventually, but I've heard every season of Apex. Hey, Firewall, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Podcast, more like Footcast, since pod is Latin for foot. Hey, sure, we'll call this the Footcast from now on. I'll probably get a lot more viewers that are likely into something very different. But, welcome to the stream, how you doing? Well, yeah, every season of Apex, every new season, there's always a report like, will Titans come back in next season of Apex? And it's like, no, they won't. Why do you keep asking that? I love for them to. I would very much like that. But guess what? They're not going to do it. They will never do it. Too much work for them. But I would love it if they did. I would not turn my nose at that. I've been doing just fine. How you been doing, Firewall? Hey, Peach, welcome to the stream. Yeah, damn. Don't know what you're saying damn about, but thanks. I would hope that's about... Yeah, you wrote something for me. Oh, what's up? What'd you write for me? Gonna take a sec. Let's see. What other game do I want to talk about? You feeling Luigi? Good to hear, Mr. L. Good to hear. I have many things we can talk about. Let's see. I'm also... You were on top... Oh, okay. Hold on. Hey, I lost my love. I lost my love seeing you. Could you help me find it? Hey, thanks, man. Let's talk about this one. This is another one that I did before I became a VTuber, but like, yeah, the I love Colonel Sanders thing. I kind of want to go back to this and try to get the true ending at some point, because I only got like one of the bad endings, and I also really like doing the Colonel Sanders voice. Aero switched to live chat. I am in live chat now. Now I am. There we go. Or at least I see it. Regardless, I love the hashtag joke, hashtag funny in the description. Yeah, that's... Yeah. I mean, hey, YouTube tags, am I right? You gotta put something to get things to work. This is nice. Thank you, Peach. Yeah. But yeah, I like doing the Colonel Sanders voice. I'm Colonel Sanders. I know the 11 herbs and spices. I don't think that's what he sounds like, but it might be. And therefore, no one knows. Because, unfortunately, he Still serving in the army, I heard. But forget about Colonel Sanders. Even though we love Colonel Sanders, that Wolverine screen cap will never not be funny. I know, right? I love that meme. It's so good. It's just got such high potential for stuff, you know? It's beautiful. All right. What else? What else do I got? Maybe change the pace slightly. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Jump King. Wait a second, is that a JoJo reference? Oh, there was one there. Yeah. You know, Colonel Sanders was always the last thing I expected the internet to turn into a waifu was Bando. Yeah, but I feel like I'm pretty sure that was like a marketing bit by the marketing team. Something they specifically put in there to try to get people to talk about KFC. And to be fair, it worked. It was very funny. But at the same time, well, it's like, it is interesting though how like very few, in my opinion, joke VNs that are meant to be funny are actually funny. That was actually really funny. There, of course, is me doing the Will Smith meme. But, oh yeah, there's the Scream. I still haven't used that for anything else much. The Scream meme. And that's up. Oh yeah, the time that I had it upside down. Forgot about that. But yeah, Jump King was a hell of a stream series. That was fucking rough. But it was also very fun in my opinion. I really enjoyed doing all of the everything with it. Because, like, you know, there was just such a high amount of potential for salt. And obviously I like salt, being that, you know, 95% of my content is me being frustrated about something. But I feel like it had a very good level of difficulty in addition to the fact that, oh, I didn't notice I used the same picture for like the first two, for the first one and the last one. That's funny. But I liked how whenever I did something wrong in the game, it was always that I messed up, not that the game just decided to screw with me and destroy me. Because there's something a bit different, same thing with Undertale, really, about how, like, it's less about the game screwing up and more about me screwing up. Like, if I mess up, I'm done. I'm doomed. But the game will rarely, like, do anything bad to me that I don't do to myself. Like, if I fail a jump, it's probably because I missed the jump because I planned it wrong. Which, in my opinion, is very different from the game being like, hey, I don't want to work anymore, and then just stopping. That I hate. But, you know. I don't know, when companies resort to let's make some anime characters for advertising, it feels more like a desperation move rather than it'd be funny. I can see that. I can absolutely see why you'd say that, but I don't know, I feel like in this specific scenario it worked. At least for me. So that's what I'll say about that. I'm not saying it should work for everybody, but I did like the fact that they made an entire VN out of it. I thought that was just still pretty funny. Oh man, speaking of joke VNs, I should probably read some of the Sakura VNs on stream at some point. You know, the ones where it's like, oh, Sakura Gamer and Sakura Samurai and stuff. Where they have a bunch of, like, I'm not going to say low quality art, but like the style they have for it is definitely like its own sort of thing. They definitely have like at least, or I'd say at most, probably like 2 artists working on it. Because a lot of the sprites look very similar to me. But like, look that up on Steam. There's like a Sakura collection. You can get like all of them for $70 or something. I'm not going to do that because they're all kind of similar in certain aspects. But, you know, is my fly down in this image? Because it kind of looks like it is. Huh. Yeah. I saw the Harley Quinn Isekai thing. That looks honestly looks pretty good. didn't know what to expect from it. Not at all, but it looks funny. It looks pretty good. I haven't seen the trailer for it much yet. I saw part of it. But I gotta say, visual at least looks very clean. Granted, visuals can always look pretty clean, but that's not the point. The point is that it looks, and well, it's like, it also sounds kind of like an odd idea. Like, you hear like, oh, Suicide Squad Isekai, it's like, well, now I have to watch it, you know? You can't just say that and then not, like, expect me to view it. It's gotta happen. Oh, man. Oh, there's a lot that goes into that. But, what was I gonna say? It's like... Oh yeah, speaking of joke VNs, hold on. At least I'm kind of sure this qualifies as a joke VN. Hold on. Let's get these pictures out of the way. Then add... Hey, Gamer1164, welcome to the stream. Probably shouldn't show what I'm about to do, but whatever. So, like, we have these three that I'm about to show. Which, by the way, I definitely changed the face to the shape after I made this art. Because, like, look at the face on this guy. Yeah, I changed that. There. Oh, I forgot about the cursed cat. Oh, I love that. That's still some of my favorite art on my channel. Yeah, these three that I'm talking about. This is like, for me at least. Oh, you're not winning? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hate seeing the jaw on this one. Look at his chin. Look at how much it just kind of goes out there. It's not really, like, mine does not do that on my model. You're not winning. I'm sorry to hear that. Nekapara sure is the game series of all time. Yeah, I feel like they do part of it as a joke, to be honest. Oh, it's just... I mean, I'm not saying it's, like, awful, but... I mean, let's be real here. Do you think they take it that seriously? Because I don't think they do. I don't think they should, mind you. I'm not saying they should take it more seriously than they do, because it's just... It's a slice of life about cat girls living with and, being very, very good friends with a guy, you know? Extremely... Oh yeah, Harley Quinn's one is animated by Wit, which makes it even crazier that it's like... Like, that's just nuts. You think Omori's an anime game? I would say it's an anime-ish styled game. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like an anime game. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. Like, regardless of what it is, it's good. But, you know, when I say it's an anime game, though, like, I haven't seen a lot of anime that really look like Omori, though. Omori's got a very specific art style where it's kind of, in my opinion, it's definitely anime-inspired, but it's also kind of close to, like, some cartoons I've seen. But overall, I'd say anime-ish, at least. Then you get Need Streamer Overload, Overdose, whatever you want to call it. Where it's all... I mean, that was crazy, and very clearly some parts of it are just satire. And even if it wasn't satire, it'd still be kind of not. The anime game that you only play is Persona. Persona is great for that, though. That's, like, fantastic. Warner Bros. Is a huge company. They can afford any studio they want. I realize that. What I'm saying about that, though, is more that it's just, like, you know Wit Studio is going to be doing some pretty good stuff there. Like, they make good... Like, they do good on animation. That's what they do. That's their main thing. So the fact that they're involved means it's going to be a very visually nice production. And I'm just saying, that's going to be fun. Like, Suicide Squad, I feel like, is one of those things that you can always trust in DC will always have at least, like, some good stuff. Because it's just, you know, you got a cast of characters that's very easy to make at least relatively fun to watch by virtue of the fact that a lot of them are either crazy or just kind of disgruntled, which kind of drives up the craziness of some of the other ones. And I feel like there's a lot of good dynamics there, because you can also get fun stuff where they're doing stuff that's kind of terrible and they're not just like goody two-shoes about it. It's just nice. It's fun. Also, some of them are kind of losers, which makes it even more interesting. After seeing some of the closet Nekapara diehard fans, I confirm that yes, they're into it. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I don't get me wrong, the art is very nice on it. But I mean, I'm not really a cat girl guy myself, personally. I like cats enough, you know, I'm not like that. I want to clarify. No, I'm not, who is that one YouTuber who banged his cat? I'm not that guy. But, or wait, no, he didn't. That was the whole thing. That's what I'll say about that. Is that I'm not that guy. But I am someone else. Ideally. Let me think. What else? Is Harley gonna get run over by a truck or something? Honestly, that would be a very funny idea for how to start the show. But I'm gonna guess, just based on, you know, the fact that it's DC, someone's probably gonna build some kind of portal to somewhere and it goes awry and it sends them to another universe. That's probably what it's gonna be. Like, remember that whole, like, Batman Ninja movie where Joker had, like, a bomb that malfunctioned and it sent him and Batman back in time? I don't remember what that was about, but all I remember is that something weird like that happened. And it's, you know, it's DC. I trust that they'll do something that at least kind of makes sense. Or even if it doesn't make sense, it should be at least very funny. It could very easily be a bomb, though. Let's see. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, yeah. If we're talking about anime based on, like, games and other properties, we cannot do that without discussing Cyberpunk. I literally you don't want to make super sex with this cat. Yeah, that'll stick with you. Cyberpunk is a game that I've owned for a little bit because I got it on sale and I was like, oh, I'll play this eventually. Never did. Then the anime came out and I was blown away, man. That was nutty. That was crazy. You see here I'm doing like the Sandevistan thing. But it's just nuts to me how Cyberpunk started out, everyone hated it. It was glitchy, it was broken, messed up for a lot of people, no one really cared for it. Then the anime came out, and everyone, up to and including myself, was really fond of it. They really, really liked it. It was fun, it was cool, it had nice characters, good animation, all that sort of stuff. Trigger was animating it. I love Trigger. So, ultimately, it had a lot going for it, and it, in my opinion, delivered. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite shows of all time, but I would say it was definitely fun enough to make me enjoy the ride. And I enjoyed that ride. So, then on to the game. Obviously, the game is a different story. The game is not like the same characters, same anything except the general world and the location. All things considered, I enjoyed it. I like Keanu Reeves as Johnny Silverhand. I'm looking forward to the DLC coming out this fall. So everyone got a lot of lore to it. Just need the right medium to explore it. Exactly. Which makes me hope that they've already announced they are going to make a sequel to Cyberpunk 2077. Now, obviously, the initial reaction there is, ooh, are they going to do it properly this time? I would hope they do. Personally, I think there's a lot of potential for that. I think as long as they've taken what they've learned with all this, it should be completely fine. Just make sure they manage expectations. Don't, wait till like the last second on everything. I don't even know how I did this effect in Photoshop. I'm gonna have to look that up. But there is a lot that needs to happen. For starters, like you said, with the lore to it. I feel like there's so much going on in the Cyberpunk lore, they really could just make a game about a lot of it, or at least with those elements there, and let the player just kind of go around finding stuff. I think the story of Cyberpunk 2077, in my opinion, was pretty good. I liked it. I liked the general idea, like the endings, how they feed into it. There's a very interesting thing about it to me, which is that in the ending where, okay, slight spoilers, but there is an ending where you have the option to, commit suicide, and you don't get, and as far as I'm aware, I've heard that you don't get an achievement for the ending. I've heard that you don't get like anything fun for it. It's just a bunch of messages of people crying and asking what they could have done to like spare you this, or like get you help that you needed. And I think that's pretty effective from what I saw. But other than that, what's I gonna say? I think the ending that I got, which was the star ending, I like that one. That was a nice coming full circle sort of thing, a nice way to end it in a way that, sure, it's not guaranteed to be, you know, a good fix, but it could work. You don't know. It could end happily. Speaking of, I'm also looking forward to the DLC coming out soon. That's going to be Phantom Liberty. It's got Idris Elba in it. It's got a lot of new stuff to look forward to. I'm still probably not going to replace my sword, but I am looking forward to getting even more broken cyberware. Although I've heard cyberpsychosis is coming as a debuff, and I'm full of metal at the moment. So I'm going to have to really rework my build just to make sure that I don't, you know, self-destruct immediately. But I am going to have to reassign stuff in my perk tree, because I heard that some things are getting cut and some things are getting, like, put in where there formerly wasn't anything. I will have to rework a lot of that, probably once I get to stream it in, at this point, about closer to 2 months, really, but it's basically a month and a bit over a month and a half. It is a month and 24 days from today. And Starfield, meanwhile, is only a month and 4 days. Starfield will be interesting. I know I haven't streamed a lot of Bethesda games in this channel, but I have liked the ones that I have played. And I think at the end of the day, Bethesda games are just really, really fun for exploring. And you gotta admire that. But, speaking of games that are fun for exploring, there is another that we must discuss. I can see through all the drawing on screen that your line is massively improved over time. I'm proud of you. Aw, thanks. It's something that I do try to improve. That's part of the reason why I don't use any fan art in a lot of my streams. It's one, because there's very, very little fan art of me out there. And two, it's the fact that I like to be able to practice drawing through this. And it's nice to have, like, an objective, you know? Have a reason to do what I'm doing. It's just fun. You know, it's nice to have a purpose, to give myself, like, okay, I need to draw one kind of like this. Let's try to do that. Have that go. And just see where that goes. Doesn't make a good game, so they don't. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It is a little bit of a mixed bag. And I hate to say it, but it can be hard to tell precisely what's good and what's not. Let me see. What do I want to talk about next? If we're talking about, like, exploration. I was going to bring up something. So let's see. Right. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I still like this thumbnail. But in terms of exploration, this game gives you a lot of freedom in terms of, like, what you do and also how you do it, in my opinion. I feel like it gave you a lot of different ways to do stuff. That one looks stupid. I should use that less. This didn't turn out as well as I would have liked. Will you ever replay Subnautica on stream? Good question. I tend not to replay games that quickly, but I did really enjoy it. So I might, I don't know, it was on Game Pass before. I think I might pick it up at some kind of sale at some point to just, you know, have it. And maybe from there I'll do something, but till then, we'll see. Granted, at this point, since I know exactly where I would be going, I could kind of just go speedrun it and stuff. You know, that'd be relatively easy for me to do. Aero Switch looks so cursed. I know, but that was, to be fair, that was kind of the point of it. So it's, in a way, I consider that a success. Look at him. I'm trying to replicate the face. Nah, I couldn't do it. But I do think that one turned out pretty well with regards to me looking crazy. Yeah, there's me breaking my sword. Weapon durability was not... You know, like, I was fine with weapon durability by the end of it, but man, that was a rough one. That was difficult. There's Mech Head. I really ought to make a giant robot design for my channel at some point. It's a good looking switch. Yeah, that was tough to get right, but like, because Photoshop has so many tools to help you straighten out your pencil stuff, or your brush strokes, it actually goes pretty easily. The only hard part at that point is the corners. And then you have to like, make sure they're not all weird looking. But yeah, then the colors, and then having no shading, I think, kind of helps in a way, just because it's supposed to look kind of simple and cartoony. But man, this game had a lot of great stuff. I like the music too, especially that saxophone bit in the trailer, where it's like... Dun, 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 dun. You know that one. I like that. It's got a nice, like, yeah, it feels really cool on my tongue. I had good times with this game. I know the complaints of like, oh, it's just more Breath of the Wild, but you know, I think that's kind of okay. I liked Breath of the Wild. And sure, it's not doing anything huge, but I'll take it. I would have just traced a line over Real Switch in Photoshop and called it a day. I mean, yeah, that was an option, but yeah, honestly, probably should have done that. Would have made it easier. But I did it, and I think it looks pretty cool. Anyway, next. What do I want to talk about next? Let me just scroll through my little thumbnails folder. Oh, of course, can't mention stuff on my channel if we're not going to talk about the thing that I'm going to do next. Hold on. Where is it? Here. There's a lot of thumbnails for this one. My longest series ever, I believe. The Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney playthrough. That shit was long as fuck, and half of it was just one trial. Or nearly half, I should say. But this is one of my most enjoyable playthroughs of any game in my channel, I have to say. This is like, it was fun to play. I think it was pretty good to watch. I think this is one of my better ones in terms of just total results. Overall, I think this one turned out really well. You get to do goofy voices with it. You get to, I don't know why I censored that in the background there. I don't know what that, is that the judge? Is that why I did that? What was I going for there? And there's an actual courtroom. I don't even know what courtroom that is. I just found like a stock photo of one. I kept putting in the thumbnails. But, you know, There's a lot that really went into it. Just trying to like keep the. That's when I actually found you. Yeah, this is a really fun series. I think it brought plenty of people to me. Looking really forward to doing the second one once I wrap up Danganronpa, because like, as much as I would love to have two fun sort of VN series running at once, I'm not sure until. Wait, does she have the molecule for H2O written on her name badge? Hold on, look at Emma. Look at her little thing under the title. Okay, we can't see it now, but we'll loop back to that in a little bit. Yeah, I like the shocked expression, the sprites in Ace Attorney, the music in Ace Attorney, the writing in Ace Attorney, the characters, all of them absolutely goated. I am very fond of Ace Attorney. And I will get to the second one eventually, and probably also 3, 4, 5, and 6, and Greatest Attorney eventually as well. But for now, that sprite didn't come out as well. I don't know, that one, I'm not as proud of that one. Okay, I like the way this one looks, though. Look. When you're shocked, you have a point to make. Oh, okay, that's... I got kind of weird with it towards the end, didn't I? And here's where it was basically the finale, but I didn't have the boldness to say that, because I wasn't sure. I don't see a reason why you couldn't rotate between Danganronpa and Ace Attorney. That's what I'm doing, though, kinda. Yeah, it's like... Or that's what I guess I could kind of go back to back with it being like 1 week Danganronpa, 1 week Ace Attorney. That way I always have one. Especially because now I'm kind of like done with Deltarune. So I'm gonna do the Snowgrave route eventually. But for now, I think I'm gonna, hold off on that. I could also get the Deltarune, talking about that at some point during this. But Ace Attorney is one of those series where even the worst parts of it are still pretty damn good. Like, they just hit, Let's say turn the weekend, for example. You know what? Yeah, that's right. I could just have, like, one day of the week be, like, the VN day, where I'll do, like, Ace Attorney, then Danganronpa, and I just have a constant stream of games where I'm solving murders of various ridiculous people. But... I do think, yeah, that's a good point. I should absolutely try doing that. Who knows? Maybe next week I'll pick it up. Maybe I'll try that then. Because, to be fair, I thought Danganronpa was going to end way faster than it did. I thought it was going to go much quicker. And it did not. It did not go that fast. Yeah, but look at Emma's badge. It's got like H2O in the name tag. By the way, Emma's character design was really good. All the character designs in Ace Attorney, I think, are very memorable and very, like, fun to look at. Also, in case you haven't seen it, ProZD did a video, like, yesterday about Ace Attorney breakdowns, and it starts with, like, Edgeworth, like, conditioning a client, like, okay, don't talk about any of these things. And then the client immediately breaks down upon being, like, one contradiction in them. It's, I would definitely go watch it. It's on ProZD. If you haven't seen any of his stuff, I recommend going and watching the rest of it. It's fantastic. But, overall, yeah, I should absolutely try doing that. Trying to have it be like a back-to-back sort of thing, weekly. Just to kind of, keep things going, keep things up and happy. Plus, I have been doing... Or there are so many parts to each of these games that it will take a while, regardless of when I start it. Might as well start it soon. But yeah, I can absolutely do that. Not sure what I was thinking with that one either. Some of these early thumbnails are kind of weird when you think about them. Like, this is back before I really found my groove, and also just kind of... Like, this one's fine. Considering how small the team of the worked on Ace Attorney was, I think they had like 4 artists. The characters look very memorable for how simple they are. Exactly, right? Like, they just have very slick and memorable designs. Like, you look at the silhouette of Phoenix on the logo. That is clearly Phoenix. He's got like the slicked back hair, the pointiness, They've got a lot of very... Yeah, simple design-wise. They've got a lot of very recognizable, like, portraits about them. Especially, like, the main characters. That's why there's, like, a silhouette for them in each of the title things. And it always looks accurate. And I like that. I like that a lot. Anyway, talking about a different series now. Because, like, obviously we could talk about Ace Attorney all day. Like, also, oh, one thing I do want to say. The character localization names in Ace Attorney are the greatest of any series ever. Look at the name I always go back to on this, Dick Gumshoe. The greatest localization name of all time, unequivocally, for a detective. It's so fucking good. But Phoenix and Edgeworth are just dudes in suits, but they look good. Exactly, yeah. And they've got like also the opposing sort of like blue and red sort of thing, so it's like they look like rivals. And you also have Edgeworth having like hair more like slicked forward as opposed to Phoenix, which is more slicked back. There's a lot of good design things with it. I could talk about design all day, but that's for a different podcast. That'll come later. I should just do like a video or something like that where I examine like designs from game characters and whatnot, just to kind of get a feel for it, you know, talk about it. Get the words out there, get the discussion happening. Because I like that stuff, I find it interesting. Now, am I qualified to talk about it? No. But I am interested enough to make at least a relatively interesting video about it. And that's where I shine. So yeah, maybe look forward to that at some point. Anywho, next game that I'm going to talk about. Might as well, you know what, I'm going to talk about Danganronpa. Because that's another game where... Hold on, let me... There it is. Alright. I was always interested in character design, despite the fact that I was never really good at it. Yeah, I'm not overwhelmingly good at character design either. Like, for the most part, my design is so simple because I just couldn't think of anything else that looked relatively good to me. I don't think I can whip out designs like the one I have currently just on the reg. I don't think I could ever be a character designer. Cut to like 10 years from now where I'm like, hello, professional character designer for... Ball Destroyer 3. And it's like, oh yes, thank you. I clearly am the best at designing guys who like to kick people in the balls. It's just, I'm the greatest. Anyways, yeah, Danganronpa. I don't have the first thumbnail because I accidentally saved over it, but either way, that was the one with the clown makeup. But yeah, Danganronpa. Danganronpa is a very fun game. It's got a similar, it's definitely inspired by Ace Attorney. I think that's pretty clear. But to me, part of what makes them so similar is the fact that both of them have very silly characters, but pretty serious subject matters in the sense that people are actually getting murdered. And they are dying. I like the way this art turned out. Overall, I think the main dividing thing, like, I feel like also Danganronpa does enough to carve out its own identity to the point where even though it's definitely inspired by Ace Attorney, you wouldn't say that it's just a clone of it, or like, oh, it's more Ace Attorney. Like, it's a different thing entirely. And also, even though the gameplay still has the same thing of, you go find, like, clues, and then the trial happens, and you have that whole thing going, that's still different by virtue of just what the trial is to me. Because you got, like, Ace Attorney, you're going through the VN trying to find contradictions in it just by going through all that. Danganronpa is a lot more fast-paced and energetic. Not saying that's a bad thing either way, but Danganronpa has the whole, like, it's got the timer going, it's got, you know, all that sort of stuff. Also, Danganronpa, when you fail, you just get the chance to try again. Ace Attorney, you're just doomed if you fail. You have to go to another save, which is also funny. You put Clown Aero on a license and have your character handed to people. That should be my my DMV photo for like my driver's license, yeah. I'm a certified driver, and it just says Clown Arrowhead or something like that. Yeah, I can see that working. Regardless, I will say Danganronpa is a very fun series. It knows how to, I think especially by the second game, they figured out just how to take itself the right amount of serious, but not like too seriously and also not too sillily. And I think, you know, the same thing as like Enigma Raincoat. I haven't played that, but that came out a while back. And I actually do want to play that because I've heard that, you know, obviously it's made by the Danganronpa people. So I'm interested in seeing where that actually goes. I actually haven't heard anything about that game for the most part. I don't know how it was rated. I don't know if people like it. All I know is that it happened, and I don't know whether or not it's like supposed to be great. Well, let me look at it on like Steam or something like that. I'll do that later. But yeah, I'm interested in more stuff by the Danganronpa people. Just because I feel like they're good at making strange puzzles that obviously that's like the cornerstone of any mystery thing is just the puzzle behind it. In my opinion, because you got like the mystery of what it is, you got to think about how it affects everything. You also got to lay the foreshadowing out so it's like people can find it. That's why in Danganronpa and stuff, there's always like someone talking about like, oh hey, there's this thing that does this thing, and then it always comes up later in the trial somehow. Like, oh, this button, you press this, and then it makes a flashing light. And then you're like, wait a minute, that light went off twice, which means someone hit it twice, which means the person couldn't have died before this point, because they would have been alive when that happened. But you gotta love those moments though, the gotcha bits where it's like, I gotcha, fucker! And you get to like do the whole, like, I figured out your master plan sort of thing. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as satisfying to me personally as like the Ace Attorney breakdowns where the person just loses their mind. But yeah. But both series pacing works with their setting. Ace Attorney takes place in a totally legit courtroom and slower by nature because there are rules and procedures that need to be respected. On the other hand, Danganronpa is everything is so fast-paced because it's essentially just a bunch of teenagers trying not to die. You know what? I agree with that. That's true. And also, Ace Attorney has that rule of like, oh, trials can only last 3 days, which I think is kind of a fun one. Or is it 4 days? I forgot. But yeah. I'm interested in it. Just like, it is interesting how they were both like similar concepts, but very different execution. And I gotta respect that for trying to do something different, you know? Anyway, next game, let's see. Total Dawn was a Danganronpa game. Who would be the first killer and victim? Honestly, I want to say Ezekiel would be like the first killer. Obviously, he was also the first guy ever voted out of Total Drama. But I feel like he's just an easy target for guy that either is the killer or is the victim. And he also kind of reminds me of Leon in a way, oddly enough. But victim-wise, let me think. I want to say Lindsay, I believe was her name. You know, the blonde one? The one with the, like, the bandana on her hair with the blue eyes. I feel like she'd be a pretty easy target for, like, first one dead. But just by virtue of the fact that she seems like the nicest and, like, most down-to-earth and stuff. Just kind of like Sayaka, but then obviously there was the twist with Sayaka, and then you know how it goes. Alright, next thing to talk about. Well, if we're talking about, like, you know, detective games that Spike Chunsoft, we gotta also talk about AI Somnium Files. Now, I don't know if you've played this. This was made more by the Zero Escape team as opposed to the Danganronpa team, so it's not the same people. But I do think that if you like Danganronpa and Ace Attorney, you might like this. Now, granted, it doesn't really have, like, the whole trial aspect as much, nearly. I don't think there's, like, occasionally there's, like, an interrogation scene, but for the most part, those are pretty easy. That's not, like, a big trial thing. The real thing about this for me is the tone. The tone of this game is usually pretty silly, and I feel like it really fits with a lot of what Ace Attorney and Danganronpa try to do. Not quite as silly as Ace Attorney, but like silly in like a different way, where the main character will at some point avoid being shot, specifically because he's told there's like a porn mag at his feet, and he'll just bend down to pick it up because he's like, oh yeah, I want to play that. I want to see the porn mag. But yeah, I think that's a pretty fun sort of bit. Also, the main character's voice acting by Greg Chun is very, very good. In my opinion, he did a great job playing the character, Date. I would say, if you enjoy Ace Attorney and Danganronpa, definitely check out AI Somnium Files. I will also say, for the first one, at least, I haven't played the second one. The first one, the mystery is actually really, really cool. Like, I really like the way it all kind of feeds into itself. Like, there are multiple routes. You gotta technically play the game multiple times to get it. Like, the true ending. But it's in a way that really kind of feeds into the mystery of it all. You find out different stuff every route. You find out, like, new things. And you gotta use those things to figure out what the true ending actually is. And make sure everything ends up all right. And I thought that was really cool. Also, just in general. Oh yeah, fun thing. The actress who plays Kyoko in Danganronpa plays your little AI partner in AI Somnium Files, Aiba. Which I thought was really fun. There are a few Danganronpa actors that cross over into this too, but like, for the most part, I think it's pretty different pools of people. So there's that. But, what else was I gonna say? It's, yeah, I'm not gonna say too much about it, but I will say, once again, you like that? You might like this. Twinning is that I made it up. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I'd recommend it. I'd say it's a good thing to watch or play. Or honestly, watch, honestly, kind of also just because, you know, it's still a VN. You're gonna... I still personally think that it's better to play VNs than watch them, but I do understand the mindset behind, oh, well, it's a VN, I don't need to play it, I can just watch someone else doing it and it's fine. Which I do get, but, I don't know. Personally, I'm more of a watching it kind of guy. I like to watch, or not, I'm a playing it kind of guy. I like to play, I don't like to watch. Okay, speaking of VNs, this might be the last one we talk about, but... You ever play Ghost Trick? I haven't, but I know that's by the Ace Attorney guy, and that came out recently. I probably ought to get it. Just because it looks like a lot of fun. But yeah, speaking of VNs, I don't know if you saw my playthrough for this game. Let me pull it up for a sec. It is... Let me get it. Valhalla. This game was a lot of fun. Not a lot of stakes to it, but it was about basically it's about a bartender, right? And that bartender is very sarcastic, and she meets a lot of strange people. And I gotta say, really fun game, really nice characters. I enjoy the soundtrack too. I would say if you can get this on like a Steam sale, or even if it's like not on sale, I would say pick up Valhalla. You want to have a good time, you want to have fun characters, cool story, or like the story's kind of not there that much. There's not like a ton going on. It's kind of a slice of life sort of thing, even though there is a bit of a plot to it. Overall, I enjoyed this a lot. I really, really am looking forward to Nirvana, which is the sequel to it, which is still in production, kind of delayed, but we'll see where that goes. Oh shit, I forgot I made that. The thing about the chugging vodka thing. Huh. Have I used that in like a schedule yet? Yeah, it's about Shoot Takumi. It's about a ghost detective investigating his own murder, and I think it's actually canon in the Ace Attorney universe. Honestly, I believe that it's canon. That's really funny. But yeah, it's made by Shitsukumi. I will absolutely check that out at some point. I saw that and I was like, okay, it looks pretty cool. Then they're like, made by the Ace Attorney creator. And I was like, oh, well, why didn't you say so? Let's go. But yeah, very into that idea. It sounds like a lot of fun. It looks pretty cool too. But yeah, this game, if you like fun, sort of like strange jokes, I would absolutely go for this game. Love how you just lower the quality and boom, now it's pixelated. Yep, that's the way. That's how it's done. That's how you make pixel art, baby. I mean, not really. There's a lot more work that really goes into it that I have no idea how to do. But, you know, it kind of works. You can still tell what you're looking at. Not better than most things, but you can tell. Not judging you, I would have done the same. Yeah, I really just, like, I like pixel art, but I also need to actually look into how it works. Because, you know, this is not that. There's a lot of, like, different art styles I'd like to try out and try to make things in, but, you know. It's one of those things where you really gotta plan out the time to do it properly, because, like, I feel like there's something to learn from pretty much every art style out there. You know, there's something you can pick up, some sort of skill you can grab. And what it really comes down to is how you use that. I'm sure there's something I can learn from pixel art that I don't currently know from my normal art. But I would need to actually find, like, some good videos on it, or, like, good examples of how to do it. Because at the moment, lowering the quality is pretty much all I have to make pixel stuff, and I'm positive that's not what it's supposed to be. So yeah, that's kind of that's that. I need to focus on that a bit more. Not that I'm planning on doing it a lot. On the surface, it doesn't seem much different from normal art. Exactly, that's the thing, is that, like, I've tried going in and making my brush size, like, really small, making the canvas size really small, so that way it has to, like, be a lot of, like, very noticeable pixels. But even that didn't really work for me, so I'm gonna have to really try something else to make it work and all that. That's just a new little art journey for me to go off on. Really make an attempt to do that. I mean, I might as well end this by talking about some games that I want to play in the future with regards to this channel. I'm thinking, like, I don't know. If I had to say games that I want to play in the future, I keep, like, a little list. I want to play Xenoblade 2, because I got that game a while back, but I never really, like, played it that much. And this channel is a good opportunity for me to work through my backlog and actually, like, try to play stuff. Obviously, once the MGS Master Collection comes out, I'm gonna play that. Like, you can bet dollars to donuts, I'm gonna be playing the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. Absolutely. Just because, you know, it's Metal Gear Solid. It's good. Pretty sure you have an option for pixelated brush. I have it in my drawing program and I'm not using Photoshop. I probably do. I just need to go find it. I need to go find whatever it is. Maybe it's literally just a giant square that will drop other squares. Who knows? But I'll look into that. Thanks. Yeah. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, but Metal Gear Solid Master Collection, absolutely doing that. Looking forward to it. I'm thinking it'll be really good. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. All things considered, there's that. Oh yeah, Dragon's Dogma, I'd also like to do. Let me think. I got, like, several slots on my channel at the moment that are currently taken up by various JRPGs. I'm thinking more of those would be fun. Both because they give me the chance to do, like, more character voices, and also because they're just fun games to play, especially if they have, like, different mechanics and stuff like that. Xenoblade, looking into that. Let me think, what else? I did keep a better list at one point. Obviously, I'm going to play more Nier stuff. I think once I'm done with Nier Automata, I'm going to play Nier Replicant. Not sure if you... If not, you might have to download it because I'm sure you have a brush for pixel art. Yeah, I'll look into it. I'll check it out. But yeah, more RPGs, more RPGs. That's what I want. Also, maybe more shooters because I've got some stuff like you know, Uncharted, which is a third-person shooter. You got like Titanfall 2, which is the first-person shooter. Going back to the Apex thing, I'm sure I'll look forward to that. But let me see. Like of the current 8 games that I'm playing, you got FF16, technically Deltarune, but I'm kind of soft done with that for now. I will get back to Snowgrave later. But for now, I'm going to try going to other stuff. Danganronpa, Peace Walker, Chrono Cross, Nier Automata, Getting Over It, aka also Only Up, but more Only Up at the moment because I'm probably closer to beating that. Halo would be fun. Halo would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'd like... It'd be really cool to go back through that series again. You know? It's just a nice time in my life. Bring me back to my earlier years. All that stuff, man, I love it. Halo is one of those where the music is just so good, you kind of have to like respect it regardless of whether or not you like the series. And you know, Marty O'Donnell, I've heard, just is kind of a little hard to work with from what I've heard. But even in spite of that, you gotta admire his work, you know? You gotta admit that the work's pretty great. But yeah, Halo would be pretty cool. Halo would be a fun one to get into. Maybe just go through like the Master Chief Collection to play through a lot of them. Have that be another sort of series I do where I just play all the Halo games. That could be fun. It would also be fun to play through some of the earlier Final Fantasies on stream, like go back, just kind of replay a lot of them, because I've played every mainline Final Fantasy except maybe 11. Actually, I haven't played 11. Need to get to that at some point too. But I've played all of them. It'd be fun to go back through and just kind of vibe, you know? Because none of them are overwhelmingly hard games. They're just kind of like fun little adventures. Regardless... Ladies and gentlemen, oh yeah, wait. You haven't even played much Halo back in the day, but it's just, man, the theme song sends me back to the early 2000s. I know, right? It's got such good, like, nostalgia factor to it. Dun 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 dun, and the whole, like, And with all of that sort of copyright infringement, I'm going to end the stream. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I've been Arrowhead, your favorite VTuber Android. If this podcast does even decently, I'm probably going to do more stuff like this, because it's basically Zatsudan, but I can market it differently. Therefore, I will continue to do so, most likely. Anywho, so next stream is Final Fantasy 16 tomorrow. Hope to see you all there. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I'll see you all next time. Have a lovely morning, day, or evening. And goodbye for now. Take care, Firewall.